Welcome, dear listeners. Today, we explore some profound challenges that even the most spiritually advanced among us may face. These are not just mere obstacles, they are profound truths that test our understanding, our faith, and our capacity to grow. Let's begin our exploration with the first of these truths. Understanding the illusion of perfection. In our spiritual journeys, we often strive for perfection. We seek to embody the ideals of compassion, wisdom, and unconditional love. Yet, one harsh truth we must face is that perfection, as we envision it, is an illusion. Why do we chase this illusion, and what does it reveal about our understanding of spirituality? The concept of perfection suggests a state where there are no flaws, no errors, and no room for improvement. However, life, in its essence, is a dynamic interplay of growth, decay, change, and transformation. In this continuous flux, the idea of a static state of perfection contradicts the very nature of existence. Every spiritual master, no matter how enlightened, has had moments of doubt, fear, and misunderstanding. These are not signs of failure but are integral parts of the human experience. Consider this. If we were already perfect, what would be the purpose of our journey? The pursuit of spiritual growth is fueled by our realization that there is always more to learn, more to understand, and more room to grow in compassion and wisdom. The beauty of our spirituality lies not in achieving perfection but in constantly overcoming our limitations and expanding our consciousness. Moreover, when we idolize perfection, we may inadvertently judge ourselves and others harshly. This judgment can lead us away from the very compassion and understanding we aim to cultivate. Have you ever found yourself feeling inadequate because you couldn't live up to an idealized image of spirituality? This is a common struggle, and it's important to remember that being spiritual does not mean being without flaws. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. The reality of suffering. Another profound truth is the inevitability of suffering. Even the most spiritually advanced among us cannot escape the fundamental nature of suffering in life. This might seem paradoxical. If we are advancing spiritually, shouldn't we be able to overcome or avoid suffering? The answer is not straightforward. Suffering, in many traditions, is considered a critical element of the human experience. It serves as a catalyst for growth, a deepener of empathy, and a teacher of resilience. The key is not to avoid suffering, but to change our relationship with it. How do we respond to our own pain and the suffering of others? Do we turn away, or do we meet it with compassion and a desire to understand? Furthermore, the expectation that we can live without suffering can lead to frustration and disillusionment. It can make us question the validity of our spiritual path when we encounter inevitable difficulties. Instead, embracing the reality of suffering can transform it into a pathway for profound spiritual and personal development. The challenge of letting go. One of the most difficult lessons in any spiritual path is learning to let go. Letting go of attachments, desires, and even certain aspirations can feel like losing a part of ourselves. Yet it is often through letting go that we gain true freedom. What are we holding on to that is holding us back? It might be material possessions, unhealthy relationships, outdated self-images, or rigid beliefs about the world. Each of these attachments can keep us from moving forward on our spiritual path. Letting go is not about loss. It is about making room for new growth, new experiences, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. In the act of letting go, we may also confront the fear of the unknown. What lies beyond our comfort zones can seem daunting. However, every step into the unknown is also a step into our own potential. By releasing our grip on the familiar, we open ourselves to the vast possibilities of growth and transformation. This brings us to the end of the first part of our discussion. We have touched on the illusion of perfection, the reality of suffering, and the challenge of letting go. Each of these truths invites us to look deeply into our spiritual practices and beliefs. As we pause here, I invite you to reflect on how these truths resonate with your own experiences. Can you identify moments where these truths have been particularly challenging or enlightening? Navigating the paradox of connection and detachment. In this part of our discussion, we delve into another profound truth that challenges even the most spiritually mature among us: the delicate balance between connection and detachment. This paradox is essential to understand, as it shapes how we interact with the world, with others, and with our own spiritual journey. The essence of connection. At the core of many spiritual teachings is the principle of interconnectedness. We are taught that all life is interwoven, that our actions ripple across the tapestry of existence, affecting others and the world in ways seen and unseen. This understanding fosters a deep sense of empathy and compassion. It encourages us to live with an awareness of the impact of our choices and behaviors on the broader universe. Connection in this sense is a profound recognition of our place within the cosmos, not as isolated beings but as integral parts of a larger whole. This recognition can bring immense joy and a deep sense of purpose. It can elevate our actions from self-centered pursuits to contributions toward a greater good. Have you ever felt a moment of deep connection, a sense that your life is intricately linked to all others? This sensation can be incredibly uplifting and affirming. The wisdom of detachment. Conversely, spiritual traditions also teach the wisdom of detachment. This is often misunderstood as a call to be emotionless or to withdraw from the world. In truth, detachment is about releasing our over-identification with our desires, our aversions, and even our personal identities. It is a practice meant to free us from the chains of attachment that lead to suffering. Detachment does not mean we do not care. Rather, it invites us to engage with life more fully, without being driven by fear, desire, or ego. It allows us to experience life as it is, without imposing our expectations or attempting to control outcomes that are, by nature, beyond our control. How often have we suffered not because of a situation itself, but because of our resistance to accepting it? The paradox explained now, let us consider how these two principles, connection and detachment, can coexist. It may seem counterintuitive to cultivate deep connections while also practicing detachment. However, when understood deeply, these principles are not contradictory but complementary. By connecting deeply with the world, we recognize the value and beauty of life in all its forms. This connection compels us to act with kindness and responsibility. By practicing detachment, we let go of our ego-driven reactions and our need to control, which frees us to love and act without conditions or expectations. This balance enhances our spiritual resilience. It enables us to face life's challenges with grace, to celebrate its joys without clinging, and to navigate its losses without despair. It teaches us to live fully in the present, engaged yet at peace, involved yet unburdened. Practical applications. How, then, do we apply these insights into our daily lives? Here are a few practices: mindfulness and meditation. Regular practice helps us observe our attachments and aversions without judgment, fostering both connection and detachment. Reflective journaling. Writing about our experiences can help us understand where we are overly attached and where we might foster deeper connections. Service to others. Engaging in selfless service can cultivate both a sense of connection to others and a practice of detachment from self-centered motivations. This exploration of connection and detachment invites us to a deeper understanding of our spiritual path. As we continue to navigate this paradox, we enrich our experiences and deepen our spiritual growth. The profound acceptance of impermanence. As we move forward in our spiritual exploration, we encounter a truth that can be unsettling yet is fundamentally liberating: the impermanence of all things. This truth can be particularly challenging because it touches everything we experience: our joys, our sorrows, our achievements, and even our sense of self. Understanding impermanence. Impermanence, in its essence, refers to the constant and inevitable change that is the nature of every aspect of our existence. Nothing is exempt from this universal law. Seasons change, relationships evolve, and physical forms age and transform. Even our thoughts and emotions are in a state of continual flux. The realization of impermanence can initially evoke a sense of insecurity or fear. What does it mean for our lives if nothing is permanent? How do we find stability or make meaningful commitments in a world that is always changing? These questions are at the heart of many spiritual struggles. The spiritual challenge. For those deeply engaged in spiritual practices, accepting impermanence is both a challenge and a pathway to deeper wisdom. We often seek comfort in permanence, believing in unchanging truths, eternal relationships, or consistent states of happiness. However, clinging to permanence can lead us to suffering. It constrains our lives within the fear of change and loss, and it can keep us from fully embracing the present moment. Embracing change. The acceptance of impermanence invites us to a profound liberation. It frees us from the burden of trying to make things stay the same when they will inevitably change. This acceptance does not mean we become passive or disengaged. Instead, it allows us to cherish each moment knowing it is unique and fleeting. It teaches us to live more fully, to love without holding back, and to engage with life without the fear of eventual change. Imagine a mindset where change is not a threat but an opportunity for growth, renewal, and innovation. This perspective can dramatically shift how we experience life's ups and downs. It can transform our relationships, making them more genuine since they are not grasped too tightly. It can also deepen our spiritual practices as we understand that our very nature is not fixed but fluid and evolving. To integrate the acceptance of impermanence into your life, consider these practices. Mindful observation. Regularly take time to observe nature and its cycles. Notice the changes in seasons, the growth and decay of plants, the flow of water. Such observations can help internalize the naturalness of change. Gratitude practices. Cultivate a habit of appreciating moments, people, and experiences as they occur. Gratitude not only enhances our current experience but also prepares us to let go with grace when the time comes. Flexibility in plans and expectations. Approach life with plans but hold them lightly. Be prepared to adapt and respond to changes with creativity rather than resistance. The acceptance of impermanence enriches our spiritual journey, providing a profound peace and a fearless engagement with life. It teaches us that our true security lies not in clinging to what we know, but in our ability to adapt and embrace the flow of life. This exploration of impermanence challenges us to live with openness and courage. As we conclude this part of our discussion, reflect on the transient nature of your own experiences. How might this understanding change the way you approach your spiritual practice and your daily life? the illumination of transcendence, beyond the self and into the universal. In this concluding part of our exploration, we delve into the concept of transcendence, a spiritual ascent that lifts us beyond the individual self and connects us with a broader, universal consciousness. This stage of spiritual journey is where personal boundaries dissolve and a profound sense of unity and oneness with all existence is experienced. The nature of transcendence. Transcendence is often portrayed as a peak spiritual experience, characterized by moments where our ordinary perception of reality is transformed. It can manifest during deep meditation, in moments of intense creativity, or even in everyday encounters filled with love and beauty. In these moments, the egoic mind's usual chatter subsides, and a more expansive, interconnected reality is revealed. The beauty of transcendence lies not only in these peak experiences, but also in how they change us, how they reshape our understanding of ourselves and the world. Through transcendence, we come to see that our personal joys and sorrows are part of a larger tapestry of existence, full of intricate and meaningful patterns. The challenge of transcendence. While transcendent experiences can be deeply inspiring, they also pose a significant challenge, integrating them into our everyday lives. How do we return from these heights of spiritual clarity and continue to engage with the mundane tasks of daily living? The key lies in the transformation of perspective, seeing the divine, the interconnected, and the transcendent in all things, not just in moments of spiritual ecstasy. Living transcendently. To live a transcendently inspired life is to continuously acknowledge and embody the unity and interconnectedness that we have glimpsed in our peak experiences. It involves seeing the sacred in the ordinary. Every aspect of life, from the simplest to the most complex, holds a spark of the divine. Recognizing this can transform our approach to daily tasks and interactions. Service to others. Serving others with compassion and without egoic motives reflects the understanding that we are all part of a larger whole. It is an expression of the transcendence that dissolves artificial separations between self and other. Continuous spiritual practice, regular meditation, prayer, or contemplative practices help maintain the connection to that transcendent reality, making it a living presence in our lives rather than a distant memory. As we conclude this part of our exploration, we recognize that the journey of transcendence is not one that ever truly ends. Each moment offers an opportunity to connect with the transcendent, to expand our consciousness, and to deepen our understanding of the universe and our place within it. This journey requires us to be perpetually open, curious, and humble. It challenges us to grow beyond our perceived limits and to embrace a vision of life that is not confined by our individual perspectives, but is enriched by the vastness of all existence. As we move forward, let us carry with us the lessons of connection, detachment, impermanence, and transcendence, weaving them into the fabric of our daily lives. In doing so, we not only transform ourselves, but also contribute to the transformation of the world around us. Thank you for joining me on this profound exploration. May your journey be filled with insight, peace, and boundless discovery. Shall we reflect on how these concepts can be further applied in our lives, or is there another path of inquiry you wish to pursue?